This was the moment I realized people in company leadership are often not great people. Now, this video is a little bit longer, so you might want to save this for later. This is a new series that I'm going to be doing titled Recruiting Nightmares. I'm going to share stories from myself and other recruiters about nightmare situations they've had either working with clients or candidates. And I welcome any recruiters out there or even any job seekers that have terrible stories about hiring managers or leaders to send me messages with stories. Now, for some of you, it might be pretty obvious that a lot of people in company leadership are not good people. But for me, I was naive. I thought if you're in a leadership position in a company, you gotta be a fairly decent person. You gotta care about employees. But I was wrong. Early on in my career, I started a sales search. And I was working with, at a time, one of the biggest clients at the company I worked at. And I started working with a vice president at the company that was running the sales organization. And he seemed okay. I did a hiring intake call with him, found out what he was looking for, and then went to look for candidates that matched the bill. And I found a candidate that I thought was amazing. She had about 20 years of experience, progressively working her way up. She had worked with the exact type of clients that we were looking for. She had managed really long sales cycle, which is again what we were looking for. And she was an award-winning salesperson. I was really excited. Again, this was early on in my career. I thought this is the candidate. This VP is gonna love her. So I got her resume and I put together a really nice write-up like I do for all of my recruiting projects. And I submitted the candidate to the hiring manager thinking, this is gonna be awesome. He is gonna love her. 3 days later, I get an email, and even by the subject line, it just seemed like a weird email. It was from the VP, and the subject said prognosis. I'm like, what the heck is this? And then it has a type of cancer listed in the email, and it basically says, like, how long you have to live when you have this cancer. And I'm just thinking, okay, that's terrible. I don't know what this has to do with what we're working on. And then there's a link in the email, and the link is to a YouCare page, which is basically like a GoFundMe account. I don't know if any of you guys remember YouCare. And so I click on this YouCare page, and I'm like, this person looks really familiar. And suddenly it clicked in my head, this was the candidate I just submitted. So look, at this point, I'm super offended. I'm like, I'm not gonna work for this guy. So I told my manager what this guy had done, and she was like, yeah, this is ridiculous. And basically we fired the client. I then told the candidate, like, hey, you don't wanna work for this company. We just heard some really negative stuff. I'm really sorry for wasting your time. But it was really from that point on that I just realized, like, there are people who are in these companies that are just not good people. Regardless of title, doesn't mean a thing.